Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome for another episode of Market Leader Live. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Excited to be with you again, where we discuss what it takes to go to the next level and go to a new dimension in your business and in your life. Hey, let's go into it today for is the mindset of scaling today. So, we want to talk about scaling. I think it's something that really needs to be addressed in today's society or whatnot, because so many people don't understand. That's where I like to call it the meat and potatoes are, and a little bit of the dessert with a cherry on top. When you look at scaling, you have to have a different mindset because you have to let go of good to be great and go from great to phenomenal. So let's just give some examples on this because I'm not going to be long before you when we look at the scaling component. When you look at scale, it might go from you being a technician or you doing a job and you're great at that particular job, of someone reached out because of a service you provide, but you realize that you want to get faster, you want to get stronger, you want to be able to have better quality and better service. So you might just outsource someone. That could be one thing for those who are in the solopreneur type vibe. Then it could go from there to where you might want some people in-house. So it might be a VA, that ain't a good example, but you might have a administrative assistant, somebody who keep your books for you or whatnot. It's a myriad of ways and businesses out there, whatnot. Or you might have just, you might hire a salesperson that, while you do what you do, that might not be your strength. I know some people who are great at marketing, but when it comes to sales, that they're not really great at sales or sharing with individuals how they can provide a benefit or a solution for that particular company or that brand. So I want you to look at that as well. Now, when we look at scale, and I'm talking about having a different mindset, the thing about scale is you got to look at scale is investing. That's what scale is. So you're investing in people, you're investing in processes, you're investing in systems that are going to allow for you to be more effective, to be more productive, not as wasteful or whatnot. You realize that, okay, it's no sense of us looking at creating that same email. This is something that we do on a regular basis. So there's no sense of us doing the same email over and over and over again when we could just actually save that email, have it in a drive, and utilize that as needed. So we don't even have to think about that, and we can knock that out and expedite the process. So you take a lot of the thinking out because you have proven and tried systems. You know what you want and how it's aligned. And so you're able to move forward. That's just one way to scale with something as simple as email. I can't tell you how many companies, how many people that they're wasting hours. They think that they're at the company or they're at work for their 8 hours or whatever, how many hours they're working, but really they're not productive. They maybe get something done in 3 hours out of an 8-hour day. And really it's less than that for most people. Most people are actually probably working, actually getting something productive done 2 hours out of an 8-hour work week, because they're all over the place when it comes to what work that they're doing, because they're at the water cooler, they're talking for 30 to 40 minutes, they texting this long, they checking the news the next minute, they YouTubing the next minute, they looking at a podcast the next minute, they checking out the Weather Channel, they're trying to see what's happening with COVID-19 the next minute, they gossiping about something the next minute. And so after the whole time, they think they've been at work, they're going, oh, I'm tired. Well, tired from what? Because you only really did 2 hours for as the actual work that you're compensated to do. So when you look at scale, having systems, having processes, and having accountability is very important if you're going to look at scaling. And then another thing about scaling that I think that is important is making sure that you put people in places to prosper. That's one of the things that you got to look at if you're going to scale. If you're having people in the wrong place, you can have people who are actually mad at you because you have them in the wrong place, and they won't tell you that because some people just say, hey, I want to have a check. So they just say anything to get a check most of the time until they get into the workplace. And then all of a sudden, Jasmine, very true. Thank you, Jasmine. My girl, Jency Proctor. Come on now. That's right, Jency. But if you look at it, most people, you have to be great at putting people in positions to win. So I have a saying, if I got an editor here, the editing department don't really need to worry about trying to do cover design. The cover design department doesn't need to really worry about doing interior design. I'm just speaking from the book place of whatnot. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, I got different teams of people that I work with, and I share this quite a bit. So let's just look at it. I know where my area at and where my strengths at, but I also know too that, like with me, I have to have a holistic approach. So I got to be able to see every angle. It's like a quarterback. You got to know every position. You got to have an idea. I don't have to be wide receiver. I don't have to be the running back. I don't have to be the offensive lineman. I don't have to be a tight end. I don't have to do those things, but I need to know a little bit about those positions and how they are supposed to operate. I need to know the route that the tight end is supposed to run, or what they need to do to block. I need to know the route that the receiver is supposed to do. I need to understand the type of blocking coverage or whatnot that the offensive tackle, whoever it is, what they're supposed to do. I mean, the offensive lineman, whatever they're supposed to do. I also need to know what are the responsibilities of their running back. Do they need to go out in the flat? Do they need to block on this play? Do they need to be able to check down to be able to get the ball to run? I'm just using some football analogies and whatnot for this particular example. So even though I'm not playing those positions, I am well aware. That's why you see people like Patrick Mahomes or whatnot. They're able to get those type of contracts because they have to know a little bit about everything. They have to be a coach on the field. They got to make sure that they put their people in position. So that's when you see a guy go down, a quarterback go down, and he check off. He's looking all around. And he's hollering. You think he's hollering for no reason. No, he's reading and being able to be liquid in his approach to put the team in the best position to win. That's the same way it is with you when it comes to scaling. You have to know when you are scaling and you're bringing people or you're getting systems or tools for your people to be able to implement, to be able to go to the next level. You need to know what works best for you, because just because it's a great technology doesn't mean that it's best for you. It might be a Google spreadsheet that's still effective for you and your team compared to nothing. So you might not need a high dollar CRM, a customer relationship manager, at that particular time in your business, because you and your team haven't evolved yet. You're not there. So you might not need a high dollar CPA at that particular time, but you also want to think at the same time that, you know, the local place in Walmart or let's just utilize it, the local mall back in the day when we could interact with people. That might not be the place that you will look at as a CPA, somebody who's just, you know, tapping in, dropping in data or whatnot and just having stuff kicked out to them. You might want someone who's able to give you better solutions. So why am I bringing this to you? If I have editors in an interior design role, that's not going to be good. If I had a cover designing team with marketing, that's not going to be a great weight. But when I allow for people and position them to do what they're great at, to do what they're extraordinary at, then they're able to scale. You see the same thing whether it's in the military, you see the same thing as in corporate or whatnot. Everyone has a lane, but you got to be able to understand and take it with a grain of salt that, okay, the marketing department might not understand what the sales department is going through. The sales department doesn't understand what the marketing department, and they can become critical of one another. But you got to have a cool hand like Luke or whatnot, have mindset that, hey, this is what we need to do. Put the people in position to win. And now all of a sudden you got people who enjoy what they do. And when people enjoy what they do, guess what happens? They're more productive. Not just productive, they also leads and trickle down to a better customer experience. Why? Because the person that the customer is interacting with feels better. They having a great time. They have gratitude. They appreciate what they do. And it's going to be a domino effect on the people that they interact with. Also, it allows for you to scale because not only is the team grateful because they're positioned right, also what you have is like the customer experience. They're loving what's happening with them. Now, what happens with all that going together? Now, all of a sudden, it leads to more revenue coming in. It's more revenue because the experience is right. You're not having to clean up a bunch of messes because people aren't paying attention to the things that they're doing. They're more effective. They love what they're doing. They're excited about it. So now all of a sudden you have referrals coming in because people had a great experience with your company. They love the staff. They love what you represent. you have systems in place, you have processes to be able to follow them up. And then all of a sudden, you got what they call in Texas a cash cow. My man Russell Hill know a little bit about that or whatnot out there with his farms or whatnot. So, those are the things that you want to keep in mind, because with a better experience, then that's what it does. So let's just say, for instance, Russell, let's use Russell Hill for a moment. With Russell, I buy products and services from his farm. I know that he raises the animals. He has the stuff himself. I know the character he has, they're taken care of. It's a great piece of land. So it allows for me and my family to be able to get good stuff that I don't feel like that it's not contaminated. It doesn't just come from somewhere that I'm unaware of. So, and I know the quality of man that he is. So he has great customer service. So guess what happens? He has repeat service. He has where I refer services to other people. He has where I'm sharing the information about the company and about his farm right now live for people across the globe. Why? Because it was a great experience. If he didn't have his systems right, if he didn't have where he could feed his animals right, if he didn't have the things lined out the right way, then guess what? I wouldn't be using his services as well. Yeah. Them Red Wattles pigs, they don't know nothing about that, Russell. You hitting them with too much. You hitting them with too much. You hit them with the Rolls Royces of pig right there, man. You're going to mess up our vegan friends on here who listening to this. But at the same time, they don't understand the tenderness of that red water or whatnot. And it's a different type of breed. Is more just subtle. Domesticated is not wild or whatnot. It had been shot up with a bunch of things like that. So, but that's a whole nother lesson. We can't give them all that on here, give them a little Texas history or whatnot about the pigs or whatnot. But yeah, just look that up, Red Wattles or whatnot. Y'all get an understanding what we're talking about on here. But that's a niche. So with that being said, on scaling, Russell has used a niche within the niche. So where some people are just caught up on any kind of pig or any kind of thing on their farm, he deals specifically with red wattle pigs. That's what he's known for, which is a more of an investment, so to speak, to have that type of pig. So it's not just like feral hogs just running around and you just out there shooting or whatnot. It's not the same type of meat or whatnot. Now, I'm not knocking wild hogs either, but I don't want nobody sending me any hate mail. But I'm just saying the red water is different. It's just like, just like a Rolls Royce or, any other car. I mean, so they're just saying it's levels to it, and that's what Russell does. So that just show you whether we're talking about being a mechanic, a welder, whether it's a farm that you own, the type of pigs that you have, whether it's publishing, whether it's consulting, whether it's ministry. You have to understand that it is what it is. And let's just look at niches. I mean, let's look at it again. Praise Jesus for pig. That's right, Jency. Let's just look at it for what it is. I mean, I don't watch it, but this is a great example for this on how to scale. So when you know who your target, you have to know who your audience is. So like Russell knows that it's a different type of person who's going to buy a red water pig. That's somebody who has exquisite taste. The average person doesn't even know what that is. They're not even trying to know what that is. They don't. But someone who want a better vibe and a better type of pig or whatnot, quality of eating, then they know that and they will invest in that. Or a restaurant will invest in it. It's just like grass-fed beef. So everybody is not into grass-fed beef or beef at all. Some people don't care what's going on with the animal, but there are people who will pay a premium, or you can have margins because others want grass-fed beef. So those who have farms who are taking care of grass-fed beef, able to raise grass-fed beef or whatnot with their cattle, they know that they're selling to a niche inside of a niche. So, let's just keep that in mind. Let's just look at news. So let's put it this way. You got extreme cases on either side. I'm just using this as an example. But you can say, let's look at MSNBC. MSNBC typically, you got people from all sides, but typically MSNBC is going to be able to scale because they're catering not to the far right, but they're catering to the far left. Okay, so let's look at Fox News. Fox News is not catering to the far left, they're catering to the far right. Now, do we have people in the middle who check out both stations? Yes, but The people who going to really sit there and watch it the whole time and just be into it and just believe every single thing that's said on there, typically they know who they're marketing to. So they're not slow. They have hundreds of millions of dollars that they're investing to know who their audience is. Now, the people who on there just watching don't have an idea, but it's business. So that's how they're able to scale, is because they know who their audience is. So if you're looking at scaling, let's just look at what we talked about over this particular episode. You have to have an understanding, for one, to have the right mindset to scale, because it's going to be more of an investment. So if you're looking at doing business, okay, yeah, the stock market is great. Yeah, all this other stuff is great. But if you can get a 20 or 30% return out of your own business, why not invest in your own business? Your bank isn't giving you that type of return. The stock market, you got to wonder if it's going to go up and down. You know, that's why they say going up and down like Wall Street. Soon as someone get mad or whatnot, or as soon as something come out, a virus or whatever happens, now all of a sudden your money tank or whatnot, and you got to worry about that. So if you're investing in the infrastructure, you're investing in your business, and you know that you can get a better return out of your business than you can out of Wall Street, the key is the return. That's the key. It's just like school. Most people go into college or whatnot because they're going to college to get paid more. That's what they're going to school for. Now, of course, you want to be well-rounded or whatnot, but I can be well-rounded a myriad of ways. I can get online. I can get on YouTube University. I can read the same books at the school that they have. I can look at what's in the school store and read the same thing if I choose to. I mean, but at the end of the day, that's what you're really going to for job security, unless it's a specialized thing that you're going. But majority of the people who going in, that's the reason they're going into. You know, now, like say, for instance, without leaving military. I mean, I know what we say and it's great and all, but most people, a lot of people going in the military going in because they're trying to provide a better life for themselves or family, friends, and loved ones. Typically, that's who's going in. Now, if they have to fight, they fight. There's some who, hey, I want to go, my granddad and all that. But a lot of people that you meet, they treat it as a job. Can I do this for a certain amount of years to support my overall plan? I might be able to get a GI Bill, whatnot, be able to go ahead and get me some education just for free, might be able to get me a crib or whatnot, be able to retire at an early age as part of their financial plan, which is nothing wrong with that. So whoever that you are and whatever you're doing, you got to look at how you're going to scale, whether it's your life, whether it's your business. This is Market Leader Live. So that's what we coming from the business standpoint. But I'm just giving you some transferable ways that you can utilize the same skill sets that I'm sharing here to be able to scale and find a niche within a niche. But your mind has to be different because you're going to have to sacrifice what I shared earlier. Then you're going to have to understand, regardless of what you're doing, you're going to need people and you're going to need processes. People and processes that's going to allow for you to be able to scale. And within the people and the processes, you need to make sure that people are trained. You're giving them the tools, because that's your fiduciary responsibility as the market leader to be able to scale the company, be able to scale your business, your ministry, or your home. You got to make sure that you put people in position to win. Also, culture. Culture is very important. You got to have a culture where people believe in growth. People believe in holding each other accountable, because you want to put the best service possible out and have a sense of excellence. Also, market leaders, you understand that you do what other people don't do. You got to have in your mind that people love to know. People love, there you go, job opportunities. That's exactly right, Mr. Hill. What you also want to know as a market leader, keep in mind what market leaders do. They do the small stuff. So if you have a consultation with somebody, you want to be there on time. That's right. It's a heritage breed. That's it. You want to make sure that you're there on time. You want to make sure that you follow up. You want to make sure that when you say you're going to do something, that you do it. It goes back to this. I'm telling you, people, phones can't change this. No matter how many posts that you're on, no matter how many subs you got, you have to make sure that you are a person of integrity. Because I'm telling you, the people who really have the budgets, the people who have the power, the influence to be able to help you really be recession proof, they're looking at the things that you do. I've had several people just here recently share with me they love what we're doing as a company because I show up on time. If I tell them I'm calling them at that time, that's when I call them. That's something that most people don't really receive, unfortunately, in business now, that they have to wait on someone, or the person is late, or they got excuses, they got this and that. or whatnot that they're going through. That's right, Jency, time is money. Time is money. So if you don't understand that, you're missing out. But if you have that attitude of, well, I mean, it's 2 minutes. It's 5 minutes. I mean, I had to do my hair. I had to have a restroom break. You got all these excuses. And then you wonder, people are not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you at all. All of a sudden, they won't refer you. All of a sudden, you wonder why they're not doing business with you anymore. They might say, hey, to you, but most people aren't going to tell you the reason why they're not doing business with you. And you're thinking it's the price, which most people think. They think, okay, if I can be like Walmart and make mine the lowest priced and all this right here and do everything or whatnot for these people and bend over backwards, that they're going to do business with you. No, they're not going to do business with you because you don't know how to show up on time. You don't know how to make a phone call. You don't know how to send an email. You don't know how to do an invoice. You don't know how to send them what you told you're going to send them. You don't need to treat them and let them know that you appreciate their services. And you don't even know how to say thank you yet. You don't know how to let people know that you appreciate them. You don't know how to service people. So if you don't know how to do those type of things, you lose out. And unfortunately, my friend, you're not able to scale. But for all those who are market leaders out there, for all those who say that I understand, Darren, what you're talking about, I understand the importance of having the right mindset. I understand people and processes. I understand culture. And I understand servicing people with a sense of excellence. And I understand how to be prompt. I understand that if you're faithful over a few things, you'll be made ruler over many. You the one, my friend, that I'm talking to today. This is not for everybody, because this is Market Leader Live. But if you are a market leader out there, holla at your boy. Until next time, remember that if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great. Also, shout out to my girl, Joyce Johnson. I got my Y Sales Network gear on today. Y'all seen the post earlier. That's someone who's a market leader. Y'all go follow my girl, Joyce, and the whole team at ysalesnetwork.com. Let me type that in too. Hill, put your website in here, Mr. Hill. ysalesnetwork.com. Boom. ysalesnetwork.com. This is where you can get the gear. Also, you can get her books. She's a 6-time author now, doing amazing things. Has a great conference. Does stuff for college students as well. She also helps in the corporate arena, corporate events, things like that, training. So y'all follow my girl at Joyce Johnson. ysalesnetwork.com. Anyway, Mr. Hill, if you're not on right now, I got to close it out, man. But I'll make sure I get your website information in here at another time. But until next time, thank all of you for tuning in. If you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.